part of their lifestyle. It's a part of the person who they are. So now, boom, the gap is even wider. Is it okay to date someone who's more sexually active than you? Short answer is, it depends. Life isn't black or white, it's Mexican. So let's talk about it. In today's episode of Teen Talks 2, we'll be talking about, is it okay to date someone who's more sexually active than you? And I'll also be giving y'all my own personal story. Personally, I believe that it truly depends. My first encounter with dating someone who was more sexually active than me, it was a girl. And in all honesty, she made me feel embarrassed about myself. She made me feel like I wasn't man enough. I need somebody who can handle me. I need somebody who can this or who can that. She made me feel small. Even if it wasn't intentional, subconsciously or even consciously, she made me feel small, as if I couldn't handle her, as if I wasn't man enough because I didn't lose my virginity. I tried to stray away from stuff like that in the middle school, and going into high school, it always seemed like parties and having sex and doing drugs and stuff like that. That was just in the movies. But then whenever you actually go into high school and you realize that people are actually doing these things that they talk to you about in middle school and elementary, they warned you about. High school is where most people do their first drug. You shrug it off. But it's true. It's true. So talking to this girl who I proclaimed to be my wife, attachment issues as a freshman, and she told me she wasn't a virgin, I felt my heart sink into my stomach. And, it's not a good feeling. Because the first feeling that you feel is doubt. I'll never be your first this. Whether it's your first body or the first dude to eat your cat or the first dude to, whose weenie you sucked. I'll never be your first. And it hurts a part of all of us, whether you're a girl or a dude. Even as a dude, I'm telling y'all, it hurts. It sucks to be like, damn, I'll never be her first cuddle buddy or something like that. But secondly, you ask yourself, is this the person that I want to spend my first with? Now that you no longer have the first. Now you're more experienced. You've done this. As a virgin, who has sex on a pedestal, you don't want to do it. You're waiting for the right person. If you're talking to a female that has 5 bodies, it has become a part of their routine. It has become a part of their lifestyle. They're meeting dudes, they're having sex within the first month, and then they stop talking. That is a part of their lifestyle, and that is a part of who they are as a person. And that maturity gap is so large that you really should not even feed into that conversation with that girl, especially if you're trying to take her serious, because sex is a part of her mindset. It's a part of her lifestyle, or even his lifestyle. That's why I would never understand, those little itsy bitsy freshmen that are fresh out of middle school getting with the senior who's a known bop in high school that has like 17 bodies. Sex is a part of his lifestyle, and he's going to expect that from you. This girl that has all of these bodies that's more sexually active, they're going to expect these sexual acts from you. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not there to provide in the ways that they want, then in all honesty, that can make them frown upon you and make them leave you. Everybody wants the nice story of talking to someone who's more sexually active than you, and they enjoy teaching someone the ways. But that's very rare. Because if you're experienced, you're going to be looking for somebody that's experienced. If you're inexperienced, you're going to be looking for someone that's inexperienced. It's nice to mess with somebody that has more experience, but in all honesty, those two don't really align with each other. So not only are you already in this bad position because you're feeling like, damn, I'll never be her first, or I'll never be his first, but at the same time, they're already expecting more of you than what you can provide. So it's already... and then this person up here that's more sexually active, it's a part of their lifestyle. It's a part of the person who they are. So now, boom, the gap is even wider. So it's like if you're talking to someone who's more sexually active than you and they have one body, then talk to them. But I really do feel like it depends on what was it? Was it at a party? Did you not know this dude? Were you fresh out of a relationship doing something stupid and you had sex with this dude that you didn't know? Or was it a 6-month, 7-month, 8-month long relationship and y'all had sex one time? Because you felt like you loved the person and y'all ended up breaking up. You know what I'm saying? What type of body was it? Honestly, we stray away from dating people who are more sexually active, but that's just my personal preference. With that being said, like, subscribe, a scripture on the screen, and here's our next teen talk. Yeah, so tune in for that one. Peace.